but I worry about the leadership. I worry about the way things have been said and the way things have been done. I'm worried about the word Tommy Robinson being used as a way of gaining supporters. Well, hello you gorgeous mother truckers, you, and welcome to a video. Sorry there hasn't been any recent stuff other than the odd little short. Nothing serious, just Christmas, decorations to put up and things to sort out. And then of course we've had the little matter of Storm Dara that's just passed through the UK, and then it's just like a little bit of patching up, mainly for you know, friends and neighbours. We've managed to get away pretty unscathed, so that's pretty good. So, Reform UK. Yeah, there's a good one, isn't it? Now, we'll just set the record straight. Before the election, I actually went to the Reform UK meeting at the NEC, which I'm just driving past now, and I actually voted Reform in the last election. Now, if you go back over my videos, I've always had concerns about Reform. I even said quite rightly that I was not going to vote Reform as long as Richard Tice was in charge, because I thought he was a raging knobhead. And but then Nigel came in, and I thought, well, you know, let's give it a chance. Let's have a shot. And they managed to get 5 MPs in, and all was good. Until about 2 days after the election. Now, when I went to the Birmingham NEC meeting, Zia Youssef was wheeled out as the biggest party donor. The man, of course, being a Muslim. And he's a very good orator, won't get me wrong. The speech was great, and instilling the love of the country. But then 2 days after the election, I think it was not even that, about 2 days after the election, he was made chairman of the party purely because he donated the most amount of money. So now the person actually in charge of Reform is a practicing Muslim. So that was interesting, especially as in reality it should have been Ben Habib. We'll get on to Ben in a bit. So as soon as that happened, I thought, okay, not too I mean, that basically means he bought his position into a political party, not only a small position, in charge of it, being the chairman of said party. So that was a little bit like, okay. Then we have Richard Tice continuing to be Richard Tice, a raving knobhead. Never bloke the bloke. He is a man who was very much pro-vaccine and pro-lockdown, and said some very nasty things about those of us who did not believe. He's and Nigel's flat refusal to show any support for Tommy Robinson. Bit weird. Then for the famous speech where he didn't want anything to do with that lot, which is us lot, pretty much, didn't help. And then you got Nigel's interview when he was talking about Southport, but couldn't say anything about Southport. Okay, fair enough. But then went on about how we need to appease and bring into the fold Muslims. Right, okay, so now some people go, oh well, you see, Gobster, there are moderate Muslims and some of them are really nice, and I have no doubt there is, and I know some Muslims who I am friendly with. But the problem is if you follow that religion, and they do, and if you follow that religion with a purpose. You will never be anything more than an enemy. And that's because of what the religion insists that you do. And even if you're a moderate Muslim, you will follow the faith to the letter, and you'll do as your imam says. And most imams don't really want us to be here as natural Britons. And there are a few voices. But until there's more voices, and until a lot more of them come out to condemn their religion and condemn the way they do stuff, sorry. So now you're saying, going, oh, well, we'll lose. So you give up already. Basically what you're saying is, if we don't get the Muslim vote, we're doomed. We're done. We're finished. It's all over. So it's all over now, isn't it? Now, I've also had issues with Nigel Farage. Don't get me wrong, again, he's a very good orator. And although I don't agree with Alistair Campbell, the war criminal, who should be in prison for the shit that he did, when he said Nigel has a tendency to grab onto the nearest thing to further himself, he does. He's very narcissistic. A lot of the time when he does things, I wonder whether he's doing it because it's for the good of the country, or moreover, because it's good for his persona. That's not to say there aren't some good people in Reform, and that's not to say at the moment in Parliament there aren't any good members of Parliament in Reform. Both Lee Anderson and especially Rupert Lowe. Rupert Lowe is the last great champion, really. He's the man who should be the leader of Reform, because he's the only one I can see who is asking the difficult questions and forcing the answers. The information that has come out will come out in more videos I'm about to do. I'm back in the saddle, by the way. In fact, I'll be on a live stream with Wookie today. I'm recording this on the 8th of December, by the way. So, he's doing the job that everybody presumed that's what Reform are going to do. Yeah, it's only him. And Lee Anderson every now and again. They're the ones. But Farage and Tice, no. And then there's the complete celebration in joyous rapture of bringing more and more ex-Conservative Party members into the fold. I don't want, and that's what it's looking like, a Conservative Party version 2.0. Because that's how it feels. It feels like we're just getting another Conservative Party. Now remember that Nigel Farage applied to be a member of the Conservative Party and was rejected. And now he's in a position where he can have a bit of payback. Again, this seems to be more about massaging his ego than it does for the best of the country. And then it gets a little bit more interesting, because apparently Tommy Robinson from prison has said we should all support Reform because they're our last great hope or whatever, which I'm struggling to understand, because Reform have, especially Farage and Tice, have spent every possible waking moment throwing Tommy Robinson and his supporters under a bus. But we're supposed to do it. I mean, some people, oh, well, it's the bigger picture. Is it? You see, what Tommy's saying, and if it's Tommy saying it, because we're getting this second hand. Remember that. This is what somebody's saying Tommy said. Doesn't necessarily mean he said it. Remember that. I don't understand how he could forgive somebody who has literally spent every waking moment distancing and separating himself, and basically, as Tice did, calling us something else. I don't have anything to do with that lot. Now, Danny Roscoe put a comment on that when Paul Thorpe had put out the video saying that, you know, we should all, you know, support him. And he's right in what he said, is in how can you do that when you say one, you know, you shouldn't have anything to do with reform because of what's happened, and then a second somebody or Tommy says, oh, it's okay, we all, it's not like that. And I'm beginning to question things more and more. Remember, the golden rule is always question. Always question. So remember, you should critically question everything, including me. Don't believe everything that I say is gospel, because it's not. It's just me giving you my opinions. And we should always critically assess everything. I've got another video coming up about something else we really need to critically assess and think about. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with doing what I'm doing now. Like, was it Tommy who said that, or are we just using Tommy's name? Because people know that the words Tommy Robinson can create a lot of support for things. And that's the one question I'm going to ask about this support from Tommy Robinson telling us to support reform. Is he? Because we're having to take the word of somebody else that that's what he wants. Remembering he's saying that about the people who've thrown him under a bus at every single opportunity they've got and don't want anything to do with anyone who supports Tommy Robinson or Tommy Robinson, but now we do. Question it. I might get some hate over this. I might lose subscribers over this. I've lost some subscribers over other things I've said. But I'm not here for subscribers. I'm here to be me and to critically think and ask the questions that some people may not want to ask. But I don't see, as many are putting it, as reform as our only option. Because they're just not. The problem is we seem to be pinning all our hopes on an organisation where the leadership is extremely flawed, and the leadership seem to be doing it to serve themselves and not us. As I said, you know, there are good people in reform, but I worry about the leadership. I worry about the way things are being said and the way things are being done. I'm worried about the word Tommy Robinson being used as a way of gaining supporters without any actual confirmation that it was him who said it. Am I playing devil's advocate here? Yeah, possibly. But I always question everything. And there's too many little red flags that are popping up with Farage. I mean, there's always been red flags with Tice. And I'm wondering about things. I really am. And if you watch this video and you're like, oh, are you? I'm not having a go. We do need a new political party. We do need some sort of reform. We do need something. But you have to be honest if you stop and take a critical look. Now, look, I know there are supporters who will blindly do and follow whatever is said by Farage or whatever. It's fine. But you need to stop and analyse and think and look. Because things aren't as they seem. They genuinely aren't. Any case, now I've left you with that to ponder. Oh, of course, who you're probably saying who my allegiance is with. I don't know. I would say UKIP at the moment, but I don't know. Because you have to analyse everything, and the worst thing is when you analyse everything, you come up with bits of problems. And it's not me having a go, it's just me raising concerns that I have personally. As I say always, I'm opening the door. It's up to you whether you want to walk through it or not, whether you agree with me or not, that's up to you. Any case, a couple of videos popping up on the screen right now. One will be the last one I last uploaded, and the other one will be the one the gods of YouTube, the algorithm, the mighty algorithm, have decided that you need to watch. So why deny? If you agree with what I say, or you enjoy what I do, then just hit the subscribe button. It doesn't cost you a penny at all. It's totally free, and why not? I mean, there is a little bell which you ding and it will give you notifications. And if you've done that and you haven't had any notifications, the recommendation would be to check, because YouTube does have a tendency to turn that off. Any case, enough of that. I'm done. So, as I make my merry way to go and pick some more Christmas presents up, till the next one.